You ever come home to find your whole life's been turned upside down by one smug smile? Yeah, that's exactly how it started. Beverly Walsh, queen of the HOA, had my restored '69 Camaro towed right off my own driveway while I was out buying groceries. When I pulled in, all I saw was a trail of tire marks and Beverly smirking from her porch like she'd just won the lottery. I'm not even kidding, she actually tossed my Bronze Star license plate frame in the trash. She said military people think they're special, but this is my neighborhood now. After 22 years serving this country, that woman treated me like garbage over a car that was perfectly legal on my own property. But the real mistake she made, well, let's just say what was sitting in my garage was about to teach Beverly the real meaning of property rights, and it weighed 25 tons. But let me back up a bit. 3 hours earlier, my phone started blowing up with messages from neighbors. Something's going down at your place. Beverly's got a tow truck at your driveway. She's out there with her clipboard again. I tore through Pine Valley Estates, probably ran every yellow light in town, but I was still too late. My Camaro, the one I'd spent 3 years restoring using parts my dad left me before he passed, was gone. All that was left were deep gouges in the asphalt, black streaks where the tow truck had dragged her off. I just sat there in my pickup, groceries melting on the seat, staring at the empty spot where that car belonged. You ever feel like the air's just been sucked out of your life? The whole neighborhood felt off. Normally you'd hear kids out playing, but today the cul-de-sac was dead quiet, curtains twitching with every move. Then I caught Tom Bradley whispering to his wife on the porch he'd served too in Afghanistan, if I remember right. At least someone still remembered what service looked like. Meanwhile, Beverly strutted out of her house like a peacock, clipboard clutched to her chest. You could practically see the satisfaction dripping off her face. Her husband's real estate business had tanked a while back, but Beverly found new meaning in lording over other people's lawns and mailboxes. She called out, "I warned you about that eyesore, Marcus. This is a respectable neighborhood. We maintain standards." I climbed out, kept my face neutral. Military training's good for something, right? "Where's my car?" "Beverly." She consulted her precious clipboard, all official-like. "Towed at 1400 for violation of HOA Regulation 7.3. 6 warnings." She grinned, teeth flashing. I saw my Bronze Star frame tossed in the garbage coffee ground, still clinging to it. 22 years of service just thrown out like yesterday's news. There was a cold, dangerous feeling blooming in my chest. That car was on my property and she knew it. "Your property ends at the sidewalk," Beverly snapped, stepping closer like she was the one in control. "That vehicle was destroying our community aesthetic, just like your flag and all those military decorations. You're not special." The air went dead silent, like everyone was waiting for the next shot to fire. "This isn't some foreign battlefield. You'll follow my rules," she said. And in that moment I could see it, her contempt, her power trip, and her total ignorance about who she was dealing with. I glanced at my garage door and Beverly noticed, but she had no idea what was behind it. "See, some folks collect stamps. I keep certain pieces of military history around for special occasions." Beverly kept going, listing off every violation she'd logged. Grass height, trash bin placement, flag size fines would start tomorrow, $200 a day until I complied. She tossed in, "Next time you want to play soldier, do it somewhere that appreciates military theatrics." Real Americans, she called them. Yeah, that happened. Tom Bradley caught my eye, gave me a little nod. Somebody who actually got it. I pulled my license plate frame out of the trash, brushed it off, and remembered something in the military. You don't win with rage. You win with patience, planning, and knowing exactly when to bring out the heavy artillery. My Camaro. That was about honoring my dad, the past. But in my garage, I had something built for the future. A 25-ton tank, legal and registered as historical military equipment. And Beverly, she'd just declared war on a guy who understood the difference between winning a battle and winning the whole damn war. The next morning, while I was sipping coffee on the porch, Beverly was already at it, posting in the neighborhood group, painting me as public enemy #1. "This affects all our property values. Community action may be necessary," she warned. Then came the citations. Grass too high, measured at not even close bins, improperly placed off by a 1/4 inch, my foot mailbox, angled doormat, garden hose, even the direction of my lawn chairs. It was laughable if it wasn't so infuriating. Some neighbors like Tom and Mrs. Morgan quietly showed their support. Others just kept their heads down, too worried about Beverly's wrath. But I got to work reading those HOA bylaws like they were the enemy's playbook. And wouldn't you know it, Beverly had broken every rule in the book. No proper warning, no 30-day response, no board review. She was acting way outside her authority. Then came the twist. Public records showed her husband had lost his real estate license for fraud. Their house second mortgage deep in the red. And 3 months ago, Beverly funneled a $5,000 landscaping contract to her brother-in-law, no bids, no board vote. I'd seen warlords who operated more honestly. That afternoon, Beverly stormed over again, ready for a showdown. "You think being a veteran makes you untouchable?" she spat, blocking my front door. The whole neighborhood watched. "This is civilian territory, Marcus. I make the rules." I just looked at her and said, "I'm familiar with following rules. The question is whether you are." She went red as a beet, then stormed off, vowing to double my fines. That night I put together everything: her bias against veterans, the procedural violations, the financial misconduct, the laws on my side, especially when it comes to veteran discrimination. But defense alone wasn't going to cut it. That's when I remembered the real ace in my hand: federal law. Decommissioned military vehicles with the right paperwork can't be regulated by local HOAs. And I had the permits, the insurance, the whole 9 yards. The 1960 M60 patent tank in my garage, perfectly legal and ready to roll. So I called up Jake Morrison, old Army buddy who now runs a military surplus dealership. Thunder, that's what we called the tank, was ready for transport. All legal, all registered. That tank meant more than just winning a fight with Beverly. It was a memorial, a tribute to the guys who didn't make it home. Of course, Beverly hit back. Noise complaint, property lien, threats of foreclosure over fake citations. She was out for blood. But I had a plan, and I wasn't backing down. The next HOA board meeting, usually just a handful of folks and some stale coffee, was packed. Word got around about what Beverly had been up to. I stood up with a folder full of evidence and laid it all out: her fake citations, her unauthorized spending, the whole crooked operation. The board was stunned. I showed them invoices, bank statements, the works. When I pointed out the missing $3,000 in landscaping funds, Beverly went pale as a ghost. "Meeting is adjourned pending emergency audit," the board declared. Beverly tried to confront me in the parking lot after, but her threats didn't scare me. Time to bring Thunder home, I texted Jake. If Beverly thought she'd seen all my cards, she was about to realize I'd been saving the best for last. The day Thunder came home was a spectacle. News vans, neighbors, Beverly pacing her window in a panic. The transport truck rolled in at sunrise. Sam Torres at the wheel, a guy who'd hauled everything from tanks to space shuttle parts. Chief Williams, the local cop, showed up to check the permits. Everything was legit. Beverly was on Facebook Live calling this a military invasion. She rallied her supporters, tried to block the street, even called the police, city council. Heck, she probably called the governor. Sam maneuvered that 60-foot truck through the neighborhood like he was threading a needle. When Thunder finally rolled onto my driveway, the whole street went silent. Some people cheered, some just stared, a few clutched their kids. Beverly ran outside, waving her clipboard, screaming about authority and illegal vehicles. Sam didn't even flinch. "Ma'am, you'll need to step back. We're unloading a piece of American history here." Beverly tried to call for a tow truck. The guy showed up, took one look at Thunder, and just shook his head. "Lady, I can't move this without a court order and federal permits." Beverly lost it, called 911, screamed about military weapons in the neighborhood. But the police already knew the truth, and now she was on the hook for filing false reports. Then the stories started coming out. Tom Bradley talked about all the times Beverly harassed his family. Mrs. Morgan shared how Beverly tried to ban her nephew's memorial flag. One after another, neighbors came forward with stories of Beverly's abuse. The local VFW showed up to support me. By evening, even the board had enough. They suspended Beverly pending a full investigation. Sitting on my porch that night, watching Thunder gleaming under the streetlights, I finally felt the weight lift. Justice, real justice, had finally landed in the form of 25 tons of American steel. And that's the lesson, isn't it? Sometimes doing the right thing means standing your ground, knowing the rules better than the people trying to use them against you, and remembering that real respect isn't won by intimidation. It's earned by character service and doing what's right even when it's hard. 3 months later, Mrs. Morgan was HOA president. The board rewrote the bylaws: no more one-person rule, no more secret fines, and every enforcement decision had to be reviewed and voted on. Thunder got a brass plaque on my driveway: Pine Valley Estates Veterans Memorial. Local schools started sending kids on field trips to learn about military service. We even had a Memorial Day ceremony right there by Thunder. Veterans, families, neighbors, everyone came together, finally understanding what real community meant. Even Beverly, after all the investigations, ended up doing community service, and word has found a job where she actually helps people. Funny how karma works out, right? Her story became a cautionary tale for HOAs everywhere. Now, when I watch the kids play in the street and the flag waving by thunder, I know we fought for something that mattered. Not just a car, not even a tank, but respect and the freedom to live without fear in your own home. That's worth fighting for. So here's my question for you. Where's the line between enforcing order and abusing power? When does standing up for yourself become a duty, not just a right? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've ever battled an HOA tyrant or stood up to a bully, let's hear your story. Hit like if you think justice was served, and don't forget to subscribe because I promise you there are plenty more battles like this out there just waiting to be told.